Okay, well, here we go. I'm
Yes.
Gerald Bentley. This is LVWS Confidential. Today, we are joined by one of the wrestlers who is looking to break out and step up this year in the LVWS, Davion Jacot. Davion, hey, thanks for joining
Hello.
us on the heels of what is now a winning streak. You and the MOM, Rochelle Riveter, picking up
That's
the
Auntie right there.
win. And yeah, in
hmm
FSW. So, you're getting going. Cutthroat Cody singled you out as one of the stars on the rise this year in the Las Vegas wrestling scene. So we definitely wanted to reach out to you and talk a little bit so we can find out more about Davion, give you a chance to kind of shine here.
Mm,
So
that's nice.
what would your message be for fans of the Las Vegas wrestling scene?
Uh, it's kind of weird right now at FSW. Um, Blur that out. Um, Everywhere else, if I go anywhere else, hi. You're gonna be seeing a lot more of me this year and beyond. So yeah, get used to this.
So now you're really just now getting going to where you can really start reaching out and letting your stars shine, I guess, as
Yeah.
you get going, right?
hmm
Now, how did you get started in pro wrestling? What was the motivation for you? Because you've been going for a little while despite being, you know, young for the
Yeah.
business.
So it all started 10 years ago. No, I'm kidding. Nah, but genuinely, yeah, I started watching actually almost a decade ago, and then eventually, going through school, get friends. Thank God you have friends.
Yeah.
Anyway, had one friend randomly. It was like freshman year. He was like, "Do you know what FSW is?" And I was like, "Oh." And he told me, he's like, "Oh, Future Stars Wrestling." I was like, "Okay, that's like the perfect name for any training school ever." And he was like, "Yeah, I started doing kids classes like 2 weeks ago." I was like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And he told me. And then eventually we started going to classes together, and I miss him. He doesn't do them anymore. Shout
Okay.
out Aiden Albanellas. Anyway, yeah, so started off in the kids class at age 14 in freshman year, and throughout my whole, well, I guess it never stopped. So circa 2018 to now,
Okay.
been at FSW. Yeah. So,
Now,
uh,
did you play in other sports in school, or
oh man.
was this the decision? Obviously, it looks like there's some jerseys in the
Oh,
background, so
which way? Oh, yeah. I don't want to show you my whole room, but
it's
yeah.
okay.
So I played football for about 10, 11 years,
Okay.
and that's why I act a little, sometimes too many head shots, but I stopped that eventually. So I played that up until basically COVID, and then I wrestled amateur for freshman and sophomore year, and then that also got cut off by COVID.
hmm
But I sprinkled in a little baseball, basketball, but it was mainly football, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, tons of memories from that. Still have friends to this day from that, and we took that pretty serious.
Sure.
Like youth football was very like. Have you ever seen a Friday Night Tykes? If not, like, oh
Yeah.
my god, the show was amazing. You have?
Yeah.
Oh,
I used to cover high school football. I did sports radio in
okay. It
Ohio,
was.
where it's a huge big deal.
Oh,
We would fly the
yeah,
helicopters to different games. So yeah.
yeah. I'd say when it comes to football, it goes like Texas, maybe like Louisiana, Florida, Ohio, Cali, Georgia, and Nevada's getting up there now. So it's
hmm
really cool. I feel like our generation kind of paved the way for the next gen when it came to football. But anyway, this is about wrestling. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but and yeah, in football, I think the Raiders being there will help because you
Oh,
get a little bit more attention, get people more interested in it.
yeah. Well, I'm trying
But
to join the Vipers. So don't get.
okay.
I think they need some help.
Yeah. So something that does help though, it helps to
Mm,
have a major wrestling organization because FSW is up there,
it
and
is.
having that kids program, that's something that doesn't happen in most of the country. It's really something that's more common in Japan, in Australia. I know Tony Storm started wrestling when she was 12. Riho
Yeah.
started wrestling when she was 9.
I'm so glad we didn't get trained the way they did. Like,
Yeah.
it would have helped, but it probably would really, like, it already is like this, just me and Bodi left. But yeah, no, kids would have left with more of sour taste if it was just like the other places. But
Well,
yeah, super thankful.
it is interesting. How many started in the program? And you said it's really just you and Bodie from
Now, yeah.
your initial class. How
Mhm.
many did you start with?
So through the years, it was like peaks and valleys.
Hmm.
There'd be a lot of kids and not a lot because school and sports. Like even I had to take a couple hiatuses because of my football seasons or whatever.
Sure.
Also, shout out Dana Lynn. That's actually where we met. Um, yeah, she's no longer doing it anymore, but she's off to better things. Just like
Uh-huh.
most of the other kids, like they find out, you know, the world isn't just about wrestling, and they could do so many other things in their lives, and so they find out their callings and they go off from there. But like I was saying, so many times where kids are gone, they come back. And so it's really hard to put a number really there, but we do kind of have like generations almost. It's like graduating classes almost
Hmm.
in the adult classes, which I don't know why I even like make a difference of adult and kids. I mean, I can, but it's really not too much different when you have people that actually like bleed through, like Laz, we had Sandra,
Yeah.
VIP, shout out VIP, the GOAT, literally. Like he was one of the first people to teach me. And then of course Bodi and I.
Hmm.
But yeah, so a lot. There's a lot of kids, but it's hard
Yeah.
to remember all of them.
Well, and it gives you a great foundation because you're going to have a significant, well, 2 legs up in the ring
Yeah,
against some of the other competitors that you're going up against because you go to some different areas of the country, that's not an option. If
no,
you're in the middle of the country, they don't start training for pro wrestling until probably after high school.
yeah.
A lot of them
But
in college. So, I mean, you get you got a years of head start on a lot of people.
yeah, when it comes to experience, like you see all the guys that are on the main roster. It's funny, like when they started is when I started. It was just a different class, but
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying the experience is really matched because their training was way different.
Yeah,
Leon Hader made sure like we got the right treatment and training. I'd say like I mean that's the only reason I'm able to really hang is because I technically have 4.5 years of experience.
sure.
And you can ask any of the other guys on the roster and they'll say probably the same thing. And the guys on top, it's like the whole class starting in 2018, 2017, they're all still here, then they're thriving, which is just wild. Like the FSW shows from now, it's like unrecognizable from what it used to be.
Hmm.
And it's just always gone up and up and up because the guys before walked so we could run. And I'm just thankful for the past, present, and the future of Stars Wrestling. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's exciting.
Not to rip off a phrase from the WWE, but now together forever because
Yes.
you're building up and you see it. I mean, people who aren't familiar with watching FSW, which I'd imagine most people watching this are,
Yeah.
you get the FSW show on the FSW network or the arena, the casino shows on Fight
Hmm.
TV. You're seeing something that is on a par with
Yeah.
your major your major league pro wrestling organizations.
Hmm.
You're seeing matches that could easily be on an Impact show, could be on AEW, Rampage, AEW Elevation. I mean, you're seeing legitimate high-end professional wrestling on a major level. I mean, heck, you guys
Yeah.
share until just recently you shared a heavyweight champion with Major League
Yeah.
Wrestling.
LW. Yeah.
Yeah, you got Chris Bay, who's one half of the Impact Tag Champions, and you're running in there against people that you see on network TV on a weekly basis. So
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. I tell you this, what though? I'd watch our shows after watching those other ones
Uh-huh.
because, with TV and stuff, you might be a little disappointed in whatever show. And then you watch our show, you're like, oh, yeah, there's still hope.
Yeah.
That's what I appreciate. That's why, like, that's my favorite part of, being here, which I need to branch out, but that'll come when it comes. But
Hmm.
it's nice, to be home and have a place where, like, okay, like tonight's gonna be it's gonna be good. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's a good show. Like I don't know, it's just amazing, and
Yeah,
especially at FSW, like we run it now more like it could be on television, and I think it
absolutely.
should be. All of us think it should be. We all come together and try to make it as big of a production it can be because it should be. If you got the talent there, just go hard in the paint. That's what we do.
Hmm. Well, I mean, coming up on Sunday the 26th, you got the Mecca show,
Mm-hmm.
Sam Adonis from AAA Wrestling and
Mm-hmm.
the
People, yeah.
NWA, Hammerstone from MLW, Kenny King from Impact. So
Mm-hmm.
you're getting all the big major talent. The Gates of
Yeah.
Agony from AEW are going to be in there, and
Davion Jacot from
John
FSW.
Morrison.
Yeah.
So all sorts of big name, high level competitors. What's it like being in, or here, just maybe a better question. What's the impact of being around those competitors to somebody like yourself who's making the strides now and stepping up in that level?
I feel like it makes you more secure in what you're doing because I feel like in a lot of places in the country, like you'll be somewhere and you could probably stay somewhere. Like me, I'm just staying. I've been just staying here,
Hmm.
and like I get a little emo about it sometimes because I do need to branch out. But you realize what's around you and how close the opportunities really are,
Yeah.
and like I said, you feel more secure about what you're doing because professional wrestling is really hard to be secure about when you're doing it. Like you can be really, really good, but you try to fight for a certain amount of respect in just normal life. And being a pro wrestler,
Hmm.
everyone knows how you get treated or how the sport gets treated. Um, but you see how close it really is to being in those places, like the people you just named. Like you just
Sure.
have to be the talk of the town here, and you'll potentially get some shots. And it's really dope to know that. And if there's not really that, well, you can at least travel with these guys. Not saying like I'm gonna be like, hey, Hammer, let me come to the East Coast and let's go to MLW. I'm not like tight with him like that or nothing,
Yeah.
but you know, like it's just cool to share a locker room with that, and you can see like genuine leadership and
Hmm.
like it's it's such like a diverse locker room. Like you see guys that are literally on top of the world, and then you have like little old me, just like hey,
Yeah.
and like trying to vie for a spot. And sometimes I feel, and of course, I feel like we all feel like this, but I feel like I could be having a match of the night. And, like I hate to really be like, I'm not like a match of the night or a 5-star match type of guy, like at all whatsoever. But you have guys like UFC and boxing and stuff like WBC. They have matches of the night, so I'll take that. And
Sure.
I feel like a lot of the time I've had that at Versus or FSW, and well, those are the only places I've really been. Yeah, um, and so it's really nice to like you can go home really really happy from that,
Well,
and
you're having some of those matches though, because
thank you.
Cutthroat Cody, I asked, hey, who are some of the up and coming talents to look out for in FSW, and he brought your name up. So
Yeah,
you're definitely on the list. You made the list.
yeah, man. I think I've been due for a Cody match for 2 years now. I've seen other people get them and they've earned them, and then some of them like I don't think anyone, as much as I love the man, wants. I don't think anyone else wants to smack his head as much as me, and rake his head as much as me. Um, no, I need that. I want that Cody match. And I'm gonna turn that to a Jacot match. We can see we
Ah,
can see
there you
what
go.
happens, but
Yeah.
because they still got to fight me,
Yeah.
and I've proved that the last couple of years. Mr. Grimm, Papa, Judiz, uh, Bone, Jay. I can go on and on. I may have lost, but I mean, who really won in the end of the day? You know what I mean?
Well, you're still going, and now you're on
Right.
that two match 2-match win streak, looking for number 3.
That number
It's
sounds
ask
smaller
about
now than
that last
everybody.
night. You had at Future Shock, you and Rochelle Riveter went up against Tanaya and Chase Bell. What did you take from that match? That's a little bit different. You got the intergender matches going.
It's funny because I'm not into intergender matches at all, and like, I mean, I'm doing whatever the promoter wants me to do, of course, and I can make it, whatever. But like, that was fun because I got to just rip apart T. She's a brat. We all know it. She's a dweeb. And then Chase Bell, also thank you for the pick.
Sure.
Also a dweeb. It was just nice to smack him around a little bit. Like, sure, I got power bombed, but hey, who came out with the W? Results are the only things that matter. Okay, and that's what we got. Me and Auntie Rochelle. Shout out Rochelle. Hello. Thank you for what day was it? Friday. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Took a bell bomb. You got to take a step back and take some forward. That went my alarm for this interview.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. You see, I was ready. No,
you were.
But yeah, another W, 2 in a row.
Well, and it's pro wrestling. They don't keep score, right? It's just the win and the loss. So that's what
exactly
what moves you forward.
Right. It's not like amateur where it's like, oh, you're stalling or 2 points. No, this is 1, 2, 3 or tapping out. Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay, on the audio that might have sounded a little weird. Just hopefully they're.
Well, you can do.
Anyways, yeah,
one of those.
There you go.
But just kind of getting back to your style, who are some of the wrestlers that have really influenced you?
There's too much to name, and it really depends on the day. Like, when I was growing up, of course, like when you're just only watching WWE, I was like, oh my gosh, I love Dolph Ziggler and the Ziggle Wiggle. And I was like, oh my gosh, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan. And then I was like, where do these guys come from? And I was like, oh, what's Ring of Honor? And so you look at every generation of those guys, which is basically American All Japan. And then you get into that style, into that style, into that. And I'm like, I can't even make a top 5.
Okay.
Like, it makes me feel bad because I know like everybody be like, oh, these are my top 5. And it's like right off the bat. And you could tell too, which is the coolest thing. Like, you could tell the influences, but they're still them. With me, I'm just like, shoot, I could appreciate everything. Like, I just love everything, and I try to mix everything, which actually is also my downfall, I feel. Trying to put too much in one box instead of just throwing stuff at the wall and trying new things. But yeah, like, I'd say right now, who would be my favorite person to watch right now? I've been kind of back on the WWE stuff more. Like, I always pay attention to every single company. But like, they've been really hitting hard with the kind of matches they've been putting on. So of course, like, you watch Cody or whatever. But I like guys, like LA Knight, Oh, actually, Eli Drake, FSW, yeah. It's like another, like, go back to the other topic of talking about people in higher places that came from here. Like, you see them doing big stuff over there, and it's like, wow, and it's working. Like, they're not just in the back, and even if they were, I mean, they're still soaking up all the knowledge. They could be anyone they wanted and beat anyone they wanted on the indies, but he's actually doing stuff. Like, I think he's probably fighting Cody right now. Actually, I think I saw that like drop.
That's right.
On Instagram, which is wild. But another person I'm taking a lot of, I mean, MJF. He's always killing it. But like on a it's like a kind of smaller scale, I guess, even though it's not totally. Been watching a lot of Ricochet Page, random, just, or like more Vinny Massaro or whatever. Especially because I'm trying to go out to NorCal, Yeah, I mean, I've been in contact with guys like Vinny and stuff, and I watch some of the matches. I'm like, you see, this is why, because they're dope, But yeah, I watch everything everywhere. Like, I'll be on IWTV even at work. I do construction, so I'd be just chilling on the port. I make sure it's clean, but I'd be chilling in the porta potty, just like on the IWTV, like. Damn, this hard. I'm not gonna lie, I'd be screen recording stuff and taking things, morphing them to my own things. But yeah, watch everything. Any performer out there / athlete, watch everything. If you don't, you're a bum.
Well, the more you know, the better, right? Is it kind of hard though? Do you want to? Do the trainers tell you, hey, let's just pick out a few moves and really get those dialed in because the temptation is, hey, I'm a good athlete. I can do this. I can do this. I can do
Oh,
that. And
you see that's the line I won't cross. I'm not that guy. I'm like, I like working simple, and
okay.
like that's no matter, like even in football, like I was never the guy to wear gloves, never wear really the flashy stuff. If you can catch, you can catch. If you get
Hmm.
hit, you can hit. In amateur wrestling, you can get 2 points, you can get 2 points. The only flashy thing I would do is hit an Iranian. But yeah, but it wasn't like we were going for style points. So when it comes to pro wrestling, it's like, I mean, what was Punk doing for a while? A series of body slams, and how
Yeah.
did the crowd react?
Body slams and a running knee lift.
Yeah, like it's stuff that's super simple. Like you do have people that are like, "Ooh, I want to learn this," and it's like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. You're the M word, with a K.
Hmm.
Not cool, bro. But I don't really do care what we be doing at training. I just go and I just learn whatever because I know it's gonna work. Like they give us these lessons because, well, you're gonna use them in the matches. Like you practice how you play, and that's another thing I appreciate about where I train at. It's like even if we do a drill that seems goofy or whatever, you're still getting that conditioning,
Hmm.
and that's also the most important thing. It's all about legs and lungs. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah, you
when it
don't want to
comes to
get blown up in the match. That's for sure.
yeah, nah, and I'm surprised by how my lung capacity has been. Like I said, doing my job, it's like 5 to 10 miles a day I'm walking, but I'm not running. Like I'm pushing and pulling stuff all day, but I'm not like running. And then when I get in the matches, like I feel like I can go again. Like I
Hmm.
still give my all, but I make sure like I'm doing this more now, like taking my time in between more, trying to be more methodical and like making sure I'm not blowing myself up because that's not how you win fights. You know what I mean? Like you don't professional wrestling's way different than any other combat sport because you other sports you punch a dude in the face, you kick him in the head, submit him, and you try to end it quick. But you see those guys, they get blown up real fast. I mean, even look at the John Jones fight recently. Heck, he's a criminal. Anyways, that ended in how long? Like 30 seconds,
Yeah.
and like dude didn't get blown really. I mean, he got tapped out, but I mean, John Jones carried like 30 plus more pounds, and his conditioning was still there. Like he didn't look the best, but anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, but I'm
Well,
saying,
that's a good point though, because there is
yeah,
definitely something to it. And when
right,
you listen to a lot of older wrestlers talk, they say, well, hey, it's important that there's a story being told, that what you're
yeah,
doing makes sense. And you're really kind of stating that because
yeah,
it's one thing to do a 450 Phoenix splash, but
yeah,
if somebody kicks out of it at one, what did you accomplish?
yeah.
You
And the
know?
thing is too, it's like even in shoot wrestling, like shoot work wrestling, it's like
Hmm.
you accidentally tell a story because you're just giving somebody the beats and they giving it to you as well. And naturally, in any fight, like if you go and roll around on a mat with anybody, they give you a double leg. You give them a sweep single, they reverse that. It's like people watching around you are naturally going to go, ooh, ah, ooh. And it's like, that's why a lot of guys can work on the fly, and like, it works because at the core of this is still a fight. Like I was just rolling around with G Sharpe the other week, and I got a little shooty at times, which is good because I
Hmm.
miss doing that, and I know he does too. And so it was nice. I actually still want his ones as well, but well, who doesn't? It's freaking Greg. But yeah, like you realize, like you see people watching around you. They're just like you see people gathering around the ring or listening in more. Like some people just want to hear the noises and hear like the bones crack. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And oh, Joe DeFalco, I'm down for NBK.
But here,
Go ahead.
we'll go ahead and wind down here, go to the championship round. We got the LVWS Confidential belts here for you.
Oh, my
You get
first
to
ever
be
title.
the LVWS Wrestler of the Week.
I'm
So
like,
just a few quick questions. Yeah, there you go. Um, what trainer has been the most influential to you,
well, Cody.
or what couple?
Okay, well, I say all of them, but
Hmm.
there was a long time I was only able to go to Cody's class because just my schedule with just my life.
Sure.
But so, I wish I could have been, going to Sim's class and Kenny King's class every week for the last couple of years, but it just wasn't really possible. I'm
Hmm.
able to now, and well, Kenny King / Greg, we'll say that.
Yeah.
So, like now I'm able to go more because I don't have school anymore or whatever, But Cody has definitely been the one that's been most, has been the tightest with me, and been the
Uh-huh.
most. All of them are really honest, but he's like really like seen everything. And I wouldn't say that's really fair for the other trainers or whatever, but
Sure.
Cody, like I said, Cody is the best coach I've ever had, and I've had so many coaches in my life, and they've all impacted me very much so. It's like of course I have my father, and then grandfather or whatever, but the coaches are like way up there. Like anyone could tell you that if they've been in sports ever.
Hmm.
But Cody, somehow I never thought any other coach would be able to surpass all the other ones I've had, but he's been the best. And not just because it's amateur, like not amateur, not just because it's pro wrestling, but because sometimes you can just like a trainer more just because of sport.
Hmm.
But nah, in all the sports I've ever done, he's been the best. I still want to break his head though.
Well, hey, it's still competition, right? And
Yeah,
be the man, you got to beat the man.
yeah, yeah.
Where do you see yourself being in 3 years?
Oh man. Well, by really, really soon, I want to start traveling more, and I really want to just dial in and really just put all my effort into wrestling. Really, I mean, like anyone else. Of course, you have your shoot jobs or whatever, and I love my job, and there's ways I'd be able to go higher up in it,
Hmm.
and um, but it's hard because I always go back and forth with the idea, but it feels like a lot of it would be interfering with the wrestling stuff because there's chances, I might be sent to a solar job or something and might have to work 7 days a week for 12 hours a day. There's no way you can wrestle on that schedule. But with what I'm
Yeah.
doing now, even, I mean, I guess I'm still risking that with what I'm doing now. But, with what I'm doing now, it's safer for the schedule. And so I feel like if I can just make a huge splash like now, I don't have to worry about any of that. When I go in the ring nowadays, and it was like that before, but I don't really felt I got as much of a fair shake as other people did when it came to just getting in the ring. Um,
Okay.
I always go into the ring feeling like I could literally change my life right now, and I don't have to worry about any of that ever again. Because this is literally like winning the lottery if you get a contract, like just like any other sport. Like I don't do it just for the money, but I gotta do it for the security. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like I'm fighting not just for me, like I'm fighting for my family, whether they need it or not. I'm fighting for Dana Lynn. I'm fighting for her story, my family's story, my name, even this and all this. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And in the next couple years, I'm really trying to focus and really show people like I'm willing to kill for this because I need this, and I don't want to be doing the electrical stuff for 30 years. I don't, because I construction is I feel like I've always made my life harder and thrown myself into the wolves. As soon as I graduated, as soon as I got a car, I just went right to the union, and I I see
Good
how
plan.
sad. Thank you. I've seen how sad the industry really is. It's a lot like wrestling. You have a lot of people that the suicide rates are the highest, the drug overdose rate, just the drug use, alcohol use in general, adultery, divorces. I'm gonna give a shout out to Dana Lynn again. Thank you for putting up with me being in two different trades where it is so hard even for yourself to keep going. Um, sorry. Um,
No, that's fine. That's reality, right? I mean, that's as real as it
yeah.
gets.
Um,
Now, you mentioned Cody Rhodes earlier. Hard times make better men, right?
yeah. But I've been raised by a blue collar man. Even I was born in Indiana, all right. So my dad worked in a car factory for about, I don't even know how long. Basically made 1 million cars for Subaru.
Uh-huh.
Came back here, became an electrician. So the blue collar life has always been a part of me. And as soon as I graduated, I decided to join that. And, I've always known how sad and good, it could really be for you. Like the money's there. It's the toughest men out there. It's basically cowboys at work, and it's a cool thing. You really like, I don't know, you could be really proud of that, but you still see the bad, like a lot of these guys, they never get to see their families really, it's
Sure.
really just like wrestling, and I'm thrusting myself into both worlds and I see the similarities and how a lot of these just, I almost said a bad word. I'm trying not to cuss as much. Yeah, sorry, God. Um, Sorry, I'm dragging this a lot, but it's really emotional.
No,
So
no. I mean, it's it's reality, real feelings, and
yeah,
you have a plan, and you're pushing yourself into two
yeah,
really
yeah,
difficult fields that take tons of training, tons of time, and
yeah.
doing a good job in both of them. It's really impressive.
Thank you. I'm just trying to
Absolutely, yeah.
put on and represent my people. Like you have a lot of characters in wrestling and people that are, like they try to pretend to be rich or whatever. But I'm not afraid to, show that like it's like the low key like backbone of this country, and I'm trying to represent for them and be like one of the few representatives we have. You know, because I mean most of the guys in this don't have social media or nothing, barely even have a phone. But I feel like
Yeah.
if they could see me, whether I'm being a piece of crap or, being a kid's favorite wrestler, either way, it's something. And they
Hmm.
can relate to everything that I'm putting out there. And the real men need someone to show, like, the other side of us, and no one else is doing that. And I've been throwing ideas at the wall recently of how I can make content to represent them. Like, instead of just being some pro wrestler and just staying, like, in the little bubble, more like
Hmm.
being this guy that just so happens to wrestle to become even bigger. Because I feel like in wrestling, the next big step we're going to be taking as performers in general is like, look at this guy. He's a big content creator. Blah, blah, blah. He does this. He does that. Oh, he just happens to wrestle, and then that company gets bigger from that. Like, look at Logan Paul as an example, right?
Sure.
It's funny because I'm like the complete opposite of that. I'm not totally into like, you can see it now just in my social media. Like, ever since my main got hacked by stupid Nigerian man. Anyway, it was a Nigerian guy that hacked me.
Mm.
Anyway, that was random, but yeah, you can
Well,
see like in my new social medias, it's not very, you know, there's not much stuff on there right now, but I'm working on it.
yeah, building.
And yeah, I'm world building currently, and it's a lot of thought going into it because at work all the time. But it helps because I can see like what these dudes really relate to and what they need. Because you're just another number in there, and you got a lot of guys, ex-cons, guys that have so many stories, and I just want to rep for all of them, and yeah, just show the world, a whole different side of what makes what you're in, like your home or the schools are wrestling in, or
Hmm.
anyway,
No, that's
next three
great.
years, make sure I don't even have to be in the field anymore. Only be there if I want to.
Hmm.
I'm not saying like I love that, like I love doing it, but my real dream, just like anyone else out here, is to be signed and to be able to be creatively free. That's the most important thing. Even if I'm not signed, that's fine. If I'm on the indies still making hella money and being me, that's dope too. And I could still go to work on any site. And it'd be cool to have you, I mean, probably even represent the union or something, have people be like, oh, that's Davion, yeah, the
Sure.
conglomerate. Yeah, anyway.
No, that's great because the best characters are the representation of yourself just kind of cranked up a little bit. That's where
Yeah.
the reality comes in. That's where the believability comes in. So, no, it's
Mm-hmm.
terrific. It's a great idea.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Hey,
You're the first person I've told this to.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, besides my family and my girl, of course.
Yeah.
But I don't tell any other wrestlers any of my stuff because I've had ideas stolen. I've had many things stolen before. I'm done with that. But well, the scoop's out now. But I mean, no one else will be able to like they say. What do they say? Often imitated, never replicated. Yeah, that's me.
No, there's only one you, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure this is gonna be good.
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to seeing you coming up to the forefront in the Las Vegas wrestling scene over the next
Mm-hmm.
year.
Yep.
Davion, thanks a lot for joining us here, stepping into the ring.
Yeah. Thank
And we
you.
look forward to catching up with you again a little bit down the road.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry for some of the rambling.
No problem. Reality's the best, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, man.